logic doesn't just apply to being utilized on apologetic arguments. Logic can be applied to every argument and any argument and should be applied to every argument. There are, and I have mentioned from time to time, areas of social interests that are out there that I consider ideologies. And one of those is this thing called social justice or social justice warriors. What is it? Is it really a thing? I don't know. I mean, it was this thing on the internet. Maybe it's not a real thing. I was listening to something and somebody mentioned the white supremacy pyramid, and I'm like, there's no way there's a thing like that. That would be crazy. Oh, yes, there is a thing like that. Not only is there a thing like that, but it's from the College of Social Justice. There is a College of Social Justice. Okay, sure. Let's check it out. All right. So what are they? Now, here's their deal on white supremacy. We'll get to that in a minute. Let me get to the screen that shows their About Us page. Here we go. Okay. The mission of the UU, College of Social Justice, what's UU stand for? Who knows? Is to inspire, sustain effective, and spiritually grounded activism for justice. Spiritually. Yeah, that's a word I don't like. Spiritually. I don't like that word because I don't know what the word spirit is. Whatever. Okay. We offer immersion learning journeys, justice training programs, summer internships, and direct volunteer opportunities in the U.S. and abroad. Okay, so the utilitarian universalist is what UU stands for. Well, I take umbrage to that because my ethical system is utilitarian. This doesn't seem utilitarian to me, and it also, I got a question here. There's a collar, a white collar. That's a pastor's outfit. So what's going on here? Is this like some sort of weird blending of religion and social justice? I don't know. It's concerning. All right, let's get back to that white supremacy page. Because white supremacy, even though basically it's not a thing anymore, we should be worried about it. So, what do they say about it? A whole bunch of text. Let's read it, I guess. Read some of it. Along with neo-colonist policies and capitalistic economic policies that maintain global poverty and equity. Well, wait a minute. Capitalist economic policies maintains global poverty? Really? Do you have any citations that this is true? I would like to see proof that that statement is true. Now, inequity, maybe. That's probably granted. I've been poor. I've been, I started out middle class-ish and went down, and now I'm back to I don't know, not middle class, but not middle class either, somewhere beneath that. Never been rich or whatever upper middle class would be. So, there's inequity in the system, of course. That's how it goes. You're going to have inequity in every system that you make. Every system that you devise is going to have inequity in it. It's a feature, not a bug. Anyways, white supremacy completes the trifecta of systematic injustice. Oh, so there's systematic injustice. Could you please prove that? What do you mean by that? Oh, well, anyways, that establishes a power imbalance of lack of respect for so-called developing countries. What do you mean about what do you mean lack of respect for developing countries? Why quote surround developing countries? I mean, are they not developing? What are you referring to? Anyways, whatever, it doesn't matter. Originally, the term white supremacy was used to identify overtly racist behaviors in organizations like the KKK. And in my book, that's still what it is. I don't see any reason why I should change my view on what that word means since it's been that way for a long, long time. But let's listen to what you have to say, or read what you have to say. Yeah, I'm sure it won't be incoherent. With the declared intent and belief that whites should retain and increase political and cultural power. Well, my understanding of the KKK is a little bit different than that, and maybe I'm wrong. I thought that they were, that whites were the supreme race, and that they were destined to be better, and that they didn't want mixed stuff and whatever. I don't know. But maybe they wanted political and cultural power as well, because then they could enact their desires. Okay. Anyways, more recently, sociologists have begun to encourage us to think of white supremacy as an ideology. Okay, well, this is a statement that, once again, I require proof for. And I'd like to know which sociologists have done this. Can I get a list of names? No? Okay. Anyways, okay, they have begun to encourage us. Well, why have they begun to encourage us to think this way? And is white supremacy an ideology? Well, certainly there's ideology within organizations like the KKK. And yeah, white supremacy in and of itself would be part of an ideology. Sure. I'll agree. Yeah, I can grant you that to some degree. But it's still, to me, it's associated with that organization that I don't know, but okay, maybe you'll talk me out of it. All right. It's a collection of ideas that encourage us to value whiteness. The hell? Okay. White norms. What is that? I don't know what a night. Can you give me examples? All right. White culture. What's white culture? I don't know. What are you talking about? White people will, yeah, more highly and above other cultures. Well, I'm not going to value white people above other cultures, but I might indeed value my culture above other cultures because it's my culture. And that's just how I operate as a human being, and how, honestly, you operate as a human being. You're going to value your in group more than your out group. Now, maybe you mean something different than I think that you mean by these words and terminology. So, because you haven't defined it here, I'm going off of what I think and not necessarily what you intend. So, I'm giving you the benefit of doubt. There's something bad to all of this. Okay, sure. Some people push back on the idea of using the term white supremacy to describe our current challenges with systemic racism. Well, maybe you should listen to those people. Maybe they have a point. Yeah, no. They point to the so-called alt-right, hateful, anti-immigration, and racist language instead. Oh, they do? Do you have examples of them doing it? Who's they? Do you have screw it. We're not going to get any examples or any citations of anything, isn't it? We're just going to get statements as if this is all fact and we're just supposed to believe it. And so I'm already skeptical of everything. Okay, that's fine. This is tricky. Although it's true that white nationalists are trying to normalize white supremacy language in the mainstream media, I would love citation for that. And we're invigorated by Trump's campaign and election. Please, citation. It's also true that a broader understanding of white supremacy helps us understand the way that it is embedded in all our systems and institutions. In other words, we're going to say that it's embedded, then we're going to tell you that it is embedded, and then you're going to come to understand that it's embedded because we said that it was true, and you just need to believe us because obviously, why wouldn't you? I mean, it's written here. This is what this is now. So if you believe what they're saying, then you believe what they're saying. That doesn't sound like a religion at all. All right, anyways, consider the following graphic developed by Safe House Progressive Alliance for Nonviolence in 2005 and adapted by Ellen Truslow in 2016. No idea who that group and or individual is, but here it is. The white supremacy pyramid. Hallelujah. 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 Oh my God. So, what's at the top of oh, and it's hard to do this without just laughing at it. Okay? This is serious because this group believes that this is real and they're teaching and telling other people that it's real. And I suspect that maybe some people believe it's real. Okay, so what overt white supremacy that's socially unacceptable? Okay, lynching. Well, I would think lynching of anybody, regardless of race, is bad. But yes, I guess that's something that you might associate with, a white supremacist sort of thing, maybe more than others. But lynchings can occur other times and places, and it's bad. Hate crimes. Well, hate crimes can be committed upon almost anybody, except for whites for some reason. But I, yeah, hate crimes bad. I don't know if we need to have hate crimes as a separate category of crime, but it's there. Okay. Swastikas. Yeah, people don't like swastikas, but then there's a swastika, and then there's, of course, the symbol of life thing, but that's not with the red circle around it. So I would hope that people would be able to differentiate between a swastika and um, the Eastern symbol that the swastika was stolen from. But yeah, it's bad. Okay, sure. KKK. Well, yeah, that's up there. I would put that up the top there, not in the middle. But I don't know where they put it, if that matters. The N word. Oh, you mean if my knee was to grr like a tiger? Yes, that word is bad and it's socially unacceptable. Burning crosses. Well, yeah, that's bad. I don't see the point of it. But racial slurs, is that really socially unacceptable? I don't know. I mean, you can call me a cracker. I think it's still acceptable to call white people all sorts of insults. But is it acceptable to have racial slurs thrown at other people? Perhaps not. I don't know. It depends on who you ask. Now, I'm going to have to focus in on this one, racist jokes. Now, why? Why does that's not socially unacceptable? I would think that is acceptable. Unless the joke is the racial slur being directed at somebody, I would say it's wrong. But I would say it's wrong to insult somebody directly. If I call you a poopy head, of course I wouldn't be using poopy, but I'd be using something a lot more harsh. That's wrong. I'm trying to take you down a peg, and that's incorrect to some degree. Uh, but if I say just, yeah, poopy heads, whatever, then is it really inappropriate? I don't know. And racist jokes can be pretty darn funny, and you make, especially when they're made by the person that happens to be that race. But is it only okay that particular colored person makes that joke? They're the only one allowed, so Jewish people can make Jewish jokes. And there was that one episode of Seinfeld where this guy, he became Jewish, and then he was Catholic, so he still has the Catholic jokes, and now he's got the Jewish jokes, and so he can tell all these jokes, and it offends Jerry as a comedian because he's becoming all these things so that he can tell the jokes. Anyways, I don't know about that. I think jokes are fine as long as they're jokes and not to demean somebody deliberately. Neo Nazis, well, I think Nazis are bad, whether they're neo or otherwise. So I agree pretty much with this top part here. I think I would take get rid of racist jokes completely, because I don't know that that's socially unacceptable or should be. I think that jokes are jokes. Okay, so then under here we've got covert white supremacy that is socially acceptable. Now, I don't know why some things are inside the pyramid and some things are outside of the pyramid, but whatever. So make America great again. How why is that slogan white supremacy? Because Trump, I guess. Orange man bad. It's okay to be racist against orange people. Um how is that covert white supremacy? It's just a slogan. Whatever, okay. Hiring discrimination. Um well, that happens to all sorts of people and it's not socially acceptable. There's laws against it. So I don't think that should be in here. Murdering police murdering now POC I've learned lately means people of color. Well, I would think police murdering anybody could be a concern. And I don't think it is socially acceptable because we hold police accountable. But it's only murder when it's illegal, when it's determined to be illegal. When it's lawful, then it's just killing. It could be manslaughter, it could be a number of things, but sometimes unfortunately police have to kill people. Now I wish they didn't. I would want them to have more non-violent options at their disposal, but apparently if they kill a person of color, then that's white supremacy. But what if the person doing it isn't white? Like, what if it's a black cop that kills a person of color? I guess that's black or brown or whatever the color is, and purple, I don't know. Then is that still white supremacy then? That's covert? I mean, but, okay, so I wouldn't have that in here. School to prison pipeline, not sure what the bleep that is. Confederate flags. Now, I don't think that that's socially acceptable. Now, I'm in the South, the home of Confederate flags, and I've not seen one in my time here. I've been here a while. Maybe I haven't gone south far enough to see it, but I haven't seen them. And I'm pretty sure that they wouldn't be acceptable. I certainly wouldn't want to try waving one around to see what would happen. Um, so I just don't think that they are socially accepted. So I think that this needs to be removed. Okay, discriminatory lending. I, okay, so I guess this is talking about banks that might lend more often to X person than Z person, which you could prove through data if it was true. Racial profiling. Well, profiling in and of itself may or may not be a good way to do decent policing of, and there's questions to be answered there because well, you fit the profile, and it's like, okay, well, I fit a profile. I'm a white male, single. I'm I'm in my upper 40s. I'm in 43 now. So I fit certain profiles just by being that. I fit certain demographics. Um, so profiling might feel bad to you when it's being done. And is it something to be questioned? Sure. I don't know that in and of itself, profiling without the racist element may or may not be a good idea. I don't know. I think it's worth investigating. Racial profiling, maybe I can have some wiggle room and say, yeah, that's there might be some more problems than with that because you're reducing it to the color of the skin, and profiling needs to account for more things. But I'm a white guy, and so racial profiling would also be against me as well, being white. So it would have to include any race, whatever you think race is. Now, I think race should just be human race, but whatever. Okay, so mass incarceration. Not sure why that's white supremacy. I guess because there's a lot of black people in prison. I think that the jail system should be rehauled in full. I think that we could do a lot better. I don't think that jail is a solution, and I think it's just become about money. And it's sad that the freest country in the world also has the highest incarceration rate. I don't know that that's white supremacy though. I think that that's just it's a problem, but I don't see how calling it white supremacy makes it a problem that's now I can address easier or something like that. It's a difficult problem to fix if you want to go and advocate for jails to be better food and you know whatever it is, better rooms. I mean, there's jails and uh, that look like hotel rooms, and it's like if you treat people like people, they won't become animals. But if you treat them like animals, well, then they're going to be like more like animals. Well, we are animals, but you know what I mean. Okay. Sorry. Not believing experiences of people of color. Well, I'm gonna have to stop you there. I don't believe any experiences of people, whether they're people of color or not. I just want to make this bigger here. Because when that comes up for me, it's usually a person telling me about their God experience. So my view of what these words mean is probably different than what they intend for me to be getting from this. I don't really know what they intend to be honest. I have no idea what they're trying to get with this simple pyramid here. These are the examples that they're saying of covert white supremacy. But from my perspective, when anyone says, "Oh, I've had an experience," it's unless it's a mundane experience, usually they don't just say, they're talking in my realm, they're talking about some unusual, bizarre experience. That they had an experience of a ghost, or I haven't talked to an alien abductionist yet. That would be great. Or God, or the Holy Spirit, or spirits, or demons, or whatever. And so I don't believe that because I have no access to that. So if I do that and the person that I do that upon, because I'm being skeptical of their experience, if it happens to be that that person is a certain color, then I am being covertly a white supremacist. So if I doubt a black Christian's experience of God, then am I being a covert white supremacist by doing that? Am I helping white supremacy in some way, shape, or form? Um, Now, Nero's in the side chat explaining what they might mean to me to help me out. But let me stumble through this on my a bit more because, well, that's the thing is they need to say what they mean by this. I and they're not, so that's a problem. But anyways, okay. Virtuous victim narrative. No idea what that means, so I don't know what that is. Eurocentric curriculum. I don't know what they're referring to there, so no idea what they're talking about. Okay, anti-immigration policies, practices. Well, I'm not sure what that refers to exactly. I mean, like, do they mean like building the wall thing, which was a dumb idea, didn't get anywhere, but whatever? Or are they talking about like just enforcing the border? Or they mean like we don't want immigration at all? I think that there's times to slow down or maybe even stop immigration to some extent. It's like we've got enough people for now. We're doing fine. We don't need to take in any more. That could be possibility. I don't think we'll get to that area, you know. But hypothetically, Maybe we're full, but maybe we only want the best of the best. And we say, look, we want to raise our the people coming in. We want really smart people, really talented people. If I try to go to Japan to live in Japan, okay, I have to like have a job there. And that job better be pretty darn awesome. And I better be really, really good at it because they want the best of the best to be there. So that's understandable. Is that them being covert white supremacy against everyone that's not Japanese then? I don't know. Anyways, assuming that good intentions are enough, that's covert white supremacy. Well, I don't personally assume that good intentions are enough for anything. Good intentions in and of themselves are just that. It's action that matters. I don't know why the E is capital. It's a very weird capitalization system they're using. Anyways, well, denial of white privilege. Well, okay, I guess I'm a convert white supremacist because I don't know what white privilege is, and I would need examples of it so I could say whether it exists or not. Expecting people of color to teach white people. So we shouldn't have black teachers then? Is that what that means, or is that something? I don't know. Believing we are post-radical or racial. Sorry, I read that. My brain decided that was a different word. Post-racial. So we're not post-racial. We're not over it. We're not. What are we not better today than we were 50 years ago? Is that cover? I don't know. Don't blame me. I never owned slaves. So saying that is covert white supremacy, according to them. Don't blame me. I never owned slaves. I guess I said it because it's true. I never have owned slaves. I don't want to own slaves, and I never will own slaves. So why would that? Okay, whatever. Self-appointed white ally. Okay, so you don't want somebody to appoint themselves to be an ally. You want to tell the person that's white to be the ally. If they say I am a white ally, that's white supremacy. Wow, that's like really backwards thinking to me. Okay, whatever. Celebration of Columbus Day. Wow. Why? Because what? Don't understand that at all. Uh, Denial of racism. Well, I mean, yeah, racism is a thing. I don't know. But what about me? Oh, I've been doing that this whole video, so I guess I'm really am. Man, I'm hitting, I'm all over this place. But we're just one human family, which is what I said when I said the only race I care about is the human race in that regard. So I guess that's similar, and I guess that's covert white supremacy somehow, according to their new definition of what white supremacy is. Bootstrap theory, no idea what that is. I'm gonna guess here because what's his name? The guy that played God. He's got the cool voice. Oh, what's his name? Morgan Freeman. There we go. Said, pull yourself out by the bootstraps. I think he said something like that. And other people, and so that's bad to say because nobody can do that, even though he did it. Like, he's the exception to the norm. So, like saying, hey, look, you can get yourself off the ground and pick yourself up. That is a bad idea, I guess. I don't know. Maybe they're not talking about that. Tokenism. Well, I know of J.R. Token. Not sure about what tokenism is. Color blindness. Well, what if you are colorblind? I mean, literally colorblind. I mean, then what? What if you can't? Oh, well, whatever. Oh, I get. Oh, but see, this is when people say trying to not be racist is now being considered racist. That's what they're referring to. Is this is being taught as something that's bad? Being colorblind is bad. I don't see color. I mean, yes, I see color, but it doesn't matter to me. But saying that apparently makes me bad now. Great idea. Now what? So to not be racist, I have to not be colorblind, which makes me racist because I see color now. I don't want to. care about what color skin people have. I don't care about what color skin people have. What matters to me is the argument, first and foremost, because I'm an amateur logician, and then the character, their actions, what they do, not what they look like. What they look like, who cares? Racist mascots. Oh, give me a break. I mean, look, unless the mascot's like an African American guy getting hit on the head with a baseball bat by a police officer, I don't know. Oh my. Sorry about that. Claiming reverse racism. Well, okay, I'll give you that because it's just racism. There isn't reverse racism. It's just racism. But you can't be racism. You can't be racist against white people either. That's also bad. So if I point out that something is racist against white people, am I then doing this thing claiming reverse racism? I don't know. Not challenging racist jokes. Boy, they're really upset about this. So racist jokes already, according to them, is socially unacceptable. But then not challenging racist jokes, which is socially acceptable to not do, even though the racial joke in and of itself is socially unacceptable to do. So let me get this right. I can't say a racist joke, but if I do say it, which is socially unacceptable, and everybody will boo me for doing it, which is challenging it, which then therefore shouldn't exist, so it could be socially acceptable. So this can't be true if the other thing is true. But they didn't think this out very well. It's just a joke. Okay, and again, I guess that's in reference to the racist jokes or whatever. So they really are upset about jokes, I think. And then the white savior complex. Well, I don't have that, so yeah, okay. I don't know that that is socially acceptable. I think that it isn't socially acceptable, and I think that any savior complex would be socially unacceptable. I'd like to put Jesus savior complex up there as socially unacceptable, but there's a lot of Christians, so I'm working on it. Okay, so if we see white supremacy as a collection of ideas and values, whiteness over other cultures, then we can begin to explore how the status quo is maintained in institutions with well-intentioned people who do not consider themselves racist. So there's more to it. Okay, well, let's go on this. Reflect. For this reflection, please find a conversation partner who shares my race and ethnicity. And I can't say words. Why? I thought I was trying to not be racist. Okay, hey Johnny Drive By, and I've got Yin Yang Mountain. So those are people that I know are white. So let's have this discussion here. What is your reaction to the idea of white supremacy as an ideology? Well, I'll answer first, and you guys can answer is it's in the chat or whatever. So my reaction is that yeah, white supremacy is a part of an ideology. My reaction to your version of white supremacy is that everything you said is logically incoherent, not supported by any citations, studies, logic, or anything else. It's just said as if it's fact. It is essentially one giant big bald assertion. So because of your logical fallacies, I have to be skeptical of your conclusions. You could be right, but because you don't have a valid and sound argument, empirical evidence, repeatable tests, studies, data, citations, anything, I have to be skeptical of your conclusions. That's just the sort of person I am. If that makes me racist, so be it. What's your argument? Okay, anyway, so that's my reaction to this idea of your idea and the idea in and of itself. So there's real academic points behind these. Yeah, right. Sure. Anyways, where do you see white supremacy play out in institutions to which I belong? Okay, if you mean your version of white supremacy, well, no, not at all. What institution do I belong to? I don't belong to any institution, I guess. I mean, Like, do I belong to the United States institution? Do I belong to the institution of vets because I was in the military? Like, I don't know if I belong to any institution at all. So I guess I can't answer that question since I don't belong to any. Um, but you're asking me essentially a loaded question. You're asking me that you're assuming that this thing is playing out some way, shape, or form. Your version of white supremacy, since it covers all these things, I think you could find that in a lot of places. I don't know that you could find it everywhere, but you could probably find it in a lot of places, especially if you uh, want to find it, which is pattern seeking, which shouldn't be what we're doing. Oh, housing discrimination. I forgot that one. Okay, I didn't see that one. All right. How might unexamined white supremacy affect your journey with the you? Well, I'm not taking a journey with you guys. I'm making fun of you guys. So, but I have examined it. I've examined your version of it, and I think it needs fixing, a lot of fixing. I think it's pretty silly, to be honest. And if it has any academic backing or merit to it, you haven't shown that to be a thing on this page. So, yeah, your argument's invalid. That's how I feel about it, I guess. I've examined it, and I think that my journey with you guys is done because I've concluded that I have to be skeptical of your conclusion. And then just discuss questions for folks of color. Well, I'm not a folk of color, so I'm not going to do that. All right. So yeah. So all right. So Nero was trying to help me out there. Uh, it's just an infographic. It's not an in-depth loop. Oh yeah, sure, sure. And maybe this was unfair because I found it. I was curious about what this pyramid was. Uh, all I could do was examine one argument at a time. So usually I stick to religion, but whenever I find a bad argument, I have to point out why it's bad. In this case, no citations, no studies, no valid and sound argument, no syllogism at all, which isn't necessary, but it would have been nice, you know. And a lot of things that I just think are kind of silly that are up there and things I don't understand what they mean and no clarification of what those things mean. I guess I'm supposed to educate myself or something. Um, all I can do is say this argument's bad. That doesn't mean all the arguments are bad. That doesn't mean that they're wrong. It just means this one instance of this particular argument is bad. Now, when I started my journey to pointing out such bad argumentations for religion, it just, you know, it was every single time, every single argument happened to be bad. And after a while, you have to kind of conclude maybe all the arguments are bad. This is just one bad argument, and I haven't seen any very much others. Now, having a snoring person here, which is kind of distracting, but that's okay. Hopefully, you won't hear that too much. Um, it's probably a, a common through other material. Yeah, it might be. Um, I don't consider myself racist. I don't view people as their color of skin, and I don't think that. And I know that that's a thing that humans can do because of evolution. Like, we pick groups of people that are like us to be around. But there's a disadvantage to doing that, scientifically speaking, because we want genetic diversity, first of all. You know, if the white supremacists had their way and there was nothing but just pure white, whatever that is, which would be a pretty bad mutant, um, coronavirus could wipe them all out in a single blow. You don't want that. You need genetic diversity. So yeah, it's a silly idea that they have. It doesn't work. I don't see how this actually fixes any of the problems that we have in society. I agree that some of these things are indeed problems, but I don't see that labeling them all under one umbrella term really does anything to help us to get rid of any of these problems. In fact, I think it actually distances us more from solving the actual issue. Because you're calling it white supremacist stuff, and I think, well, that's gone. The KKK is like puny now. And you're like, no, 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 no. We mean something new by it. And I'm like, then just let's fix the problem, whatever that problem is. Why do we need to put it under this umbrella? And, well, because it's an ideology, perhaps. Because we're saying that this is a thing and we're defining this thing and this is what it is. And if you do that and you add enough stuff to it, then it becomes everywhere you look. And then that's a problem because you can't hope to fix it then. And then you're in a rut of just pointing it out and not knowing what to do about any of it. So I don't think that this offers solutions to the problems. And I don't really think that it identifies the problems per se, nor does it really say, well, what the cause of the problems are, or how we can work to change that. So let's say there is racism. Sure, absolutely is. Now, what can we do about it? What causes racism? Okay, we have the genetic factor. We know that. A large part of it, and I would dare say, I don't have a study, so I would just, this is pure speculation, that it is indoctrination. Okay, so then that's been the main thing. So you go, well, how do we get rid of that? Well, we teach it in schools. The problem is the people being indoctrinated don't go to those schools anyways. So I don't know that really actually gets to the core. Religion absolutely causes racism, or at least helps enable it. And we pesky atheists, agnostic skeptics that speak out against religion have pointed this out many times. I mean, you can point out all the racism that's inherent in the Bible. The Jews are the chosen people. That's racist. They are better than everyone else because they were selected by God. Even though they say, well, we're not that good. That's why we were picked by God. Yeah, well, but come on. And that's not being anti-Semitic because, I'm not saying Jews are bad. I'm not saying they're good either. I'm not saying that they're not special. They're just like everyone else. But their religion enabled them to gain a moral high ground, at least in their own minds, and justify them wiping out entire cities. Go destroy that city. Kill everyone there. Men, women, children, babies. Leave nothing. That's in the Bible. That's pretty darn racist. It's genocide. And that's bad. So we can't get rid of religion, at least not legally, and if we tried it would be a bad thing. What can we do? Well, we can reform religion to make it less bad. We can encourage people to maybe edit out the racist parts of the Bible. Get rid of them. There's so much a problem. Let's just get rid of them. Why not? We've gotten rid of other parts of the Bible. Let's get rid of the 613 commandments. That'd be a good place to start. Get rid of all the killing people by stoning to death. Could we do something similar in society in regards to whatever the problem is? Police killing whoever, that's a problem. Okay, well, what do we do? How do we change the police so that they don't have to kill people? Maybe it's two things. Maybe we have to educate the public on how to behave around police officers. And you might say, oh, that's wrong. Well, no, my interactions with police when I've had them have always been good, but maybe that's just because I'm white. I don't know. Now, I know that this content is not what you signed up for per se. And, You might not like it, and that's okay, and I understand that. I have kind of decided that I will tackle whatever comes my way, whether it be religion or something else, and I will try my best to analyze it with logic, which I think I did here. Um, if you want, and let me know what you think of it, what you feel about it. You want more of this, less of this, whatever, and I'll take that into consideration because you're all important to me. Your feedback is necessary and needed, even if I grumble, especially when I grumble at you. Uh, and many of you, Snuffy, I got to give a big shout out and thanks to, and there was a couple other people too, but just Snuffy comes to mind of setting me back on the away from the path of insanity because I was reacting emotionally to something I read rather than thinking through it critically. And well, I'm susceptible, and I need you guys, girls and robots, to help me to stay on my toes. So do the same here for this, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below of anything I said here, or anything that Pyramid said, or what I got wrong, or whatever, and yada yada yada. And hopefully, I won't be demonetized. Well, I'm not demonetized because I don't monetize anything. I won't be canceled, which I'm uncancelable now because Twitter's been taken over by a white guy. Uh-oh. I'm sure nothing will go wrong with that. Oh, yeah, by the way, we have a Department of Misinformation now, according to the news. I don't know if I can trust the news, but I'm sure there's nothing to see here. I mean, they're just going to go after Russia. They're not going to go after the U. Nothing to see here. Deconverted Man supports the Department of Misinformation and everything else. Please go back to everything being normal. Nothing to see here. Beep. Yeah. All right. Well, if I'm not pissed off everybody by now, by this video, then I must be doing something wrong. Thanks for watching.